Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It's the finale. It's the end of the year. This is the last video for a long time, for next time. It's not a long time. So hopefully next year I'll be making more videos and, doing more regularly rather than, the one a month, maybe one a week. I can aim for and help those people out there who are actually looking to improve their career or, trying to be more abreast of the market as it is today. Talk about the market, let's talk about the video. In this video, we'll be talking about, what's the game plan for next year? Well, for me, I'll tell you what am looking to achieve and share that with you. And hopefully it becomes a methodical approach to success. That's one. Two is, where have we been? Let's recap where we are in the year and stuff like that. And three, let's just see how the market was. How did the market end for the year? And hopefully, the way how it ends is probably the way how it maybe begin for the next year. So let's talk about for us. For us, we want to have a game plan, right? What is your game plan? If you got a game plan, put it in the comment below. Let's hear what you got set. So let me share with you mine. It's for me the principles that helps shape what I want to achieve so that I can actually stay on the track of where I want to end up. So where do I want to end up is, for sure starting my own consultancy business where rather than it's a traditional contract permanent job, I'm more looking for my own clients and making sure that I can actually, service those people directly rather than going through a third party. Why is that? Because it's the I-35, the way how things are actually going for that. I want to try to avoid, the dilemma of HMRC knocking on my door and saying that, Mr. Claremont, those taxes that you haven't paid, you got to pay them because we deem you to be an employee. We don't want that. We want our own clients doing our own thing, specializing in our own area where we want to be. Is that not right? It is. So, but within the career wise, still have the contract. So what's the game plan for that? Well, it's the three principles I want to stay home to. So what are the three principles? One, remote. Any job that I go to must be fully remote. Maybe the sacrifice of coming into the office once a week initially for the first month. And then after that, for the first month of once a week. And then after that, coming in once a month to then none, reason because I don't see the point going to the office at all. I don't want to be part of the culture. I don't want to be part of the system that they actually have there. I just want to be able to do work, do what I'm interested in, deliver, be part of the success, help other people become successful. And you can achieve that via remote. You don't have to go to the office. It's not necessary. So that's the first principle. My job has got to be remote. Secondly, is my job's got to be popular, or it's got to be niche, or probably remove the word niche. Let's not use niche because niche to me always follows it down to one thing. You know, as a technology that's like something in demand, but it's not advertised as much. So out of 1,000 jobs advertised, you probably see advertised or sought after for 10 postings. We don't want that. We want our job to be advertised for like 80% of the roles are out there. So what do I look for that's popular? Well, it's definitely Azure. It's definitely Terraform. It's definitely, Azure DevOps or GitHub or Jenkins or anything like that. Reason being is because you got to do what's popular. Because if you do what's niche, you end up actually being in a situation where you don't qualify for a lot of jobs out there. That means that your cash flow is very small. So that's principle number two, making sure that whatever I'm doing is popular. Stay away from niche. Three is meetings. Don't want it. I don't want to be part of any meetings at all. I don't stand up. Sure, 50 minutes tops, sweet. But when it comes to actually being in a meeting, and I gotta be in like 2, 3 meetings a day, which probably consumes like an hour and a half a day, that's just waste of my frigging time. That's 2 hours of that. It's like 20%. I don't want that. I want to be able to be in a situation where it's just like I have stand up, that's it. Maybe a weekly meeting, probably about 30, 45 minutes. But other than that, it's just overkill. It's not necessary. So what does that mean? I stay away from jobs that are actually saying I want to be a tech lead, or I want to be a Azure lead, or I want to be a CTO or a CIO or a director or manager or anything of the sort. Any of those roles that I see advertised that are going to spell out I need to be in meetings probably 80% of my time of the career isn't good. And I'll tell you why, is because if you find yourself in a job where you, and this is me talking from experience, if you find yourself in a job where you end up in a lot of meetings all the time, you are not actually going to stay on top of the technology side of things. And I think even Elon Musk, you know, has actually got a good formula for when it comes to his business, is because he encourages managers. I'll okay, allegedly he encourages managers to, you know, 20% of your time is actually help manage a team. That means 80% of the time you're actually hands on as a manager. You need to lead and manage your own workload, and you need to be able to code just as much as your coders are. And I think what's happening is in the market, you probably find there's a shift where traditionally architects, managers, and those kind of realms of people were hands off. You're probably going to find that you need to be hands on. And very, very important that you need to be like that, because it's really hard for you to direct code, or it's hard for you to direct people who are coding, who need you to be able to help resolve issues and resolve issues between the two of you, one-to-one relationship, and get things up and going. Because then what it would be is that in the team, it's a perpetual state of actually achieving the mission or achieving the goals of that team. So more hands-on you are, the better. You know, that's the way to go. If you're hands-on now and looking to be an architect, it's best for you to actually practice being hands-on and staying hands-on and having the plan of being hands-on. You know, the other thing that I find in demand is security. Security is something that's actually up in demand a lot more, especially now that you got artificial intelligence that's actually come out to play. It's artificial intelligence as a job, like machine learning and stuff like that, is getting popular as well. So I think for me in the career of honing into those three things, where it's remote, where it's popular technology, staying away from niche and no meetings, I want to be able to move across to probably some artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, those sort of stuff. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is by having a remote job, by actually learning and progressing into that motion. We got to try and understand as well, going into new year, we got to protect our mind, and by doing so, staying away from negativity as much as possible. There's magic in thinking big, just as the book says. uh, Thinking big is going to get you big results. Thinking positive is going to keep you in a positive perpetual momentum. And what will happen is, ladies and gentlemen, is that that's what's going to help you get out. Now, I'm not saying that we have to bury our heads in the sand and ignore the fact that cost of living is shot up. Your mortgage, you probably have to pay an additional $1,000 US, pounds, Canadian dollars, euros on your mortgage. I'm not saying to ignore those things and live in a happily do daily world. What I'm basically saying is that keeping positive and working towards increasing your income is what's going to help you, not basically worrying about what other people are saying, especially in the media. You know, you want to pay more attention to what's actually going to help pay. That's my thing. So, that's the plan for next year. And I hopefully that you're on that same plan as I, and you're going to be able to actually, start rocking it, if I could say that. And we need to be able to be in a situation where we are looking at popular technology, and that popular technology is cloud, whether it's Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, and whether it's DevOps, engineering, whether it's architecture, whether it's security, whether it's data. It's all popular stuff. It's the tooling you got to be paying attention to. The tools of what people are asking for. Do you have those tools? Do you have that skill set? And if you don't, what do you have to do to be able to get that skill set? And you want to try and get that in 6 months or less. So, and the best way to do that, work remotely. Once you adhere to principle number one, numero uno, which is work remote, you can't go wrong. So let's share my screen. Let's talk about how the market is ending, shall we? So the market is ending on a high, if you ask me. And if I were to just basically just go Azure architect and then put in here also remote. And the reason why I go for architect is because usually architect is like the least favorable role at the end of the year because they want more doers than they actually want thinkers, because the doers, basically the engineers, are the people who are actually doing to get the new project or the project from last year over the line or completed, But for you to have in the Azure architect roles contracts at 776, that's quite high. Okay, albeit 280 roles, let's call it 300. So, what's that? 400 jobs, really. Let's call it 400 jobs are live that you're actually saying that, or there. Some of them will be repeatable, some of them are not actually, as we can see here, not architects itself. And I have no idea why it is that when I search for architects, some of the jobs come up that are not architects. It's probably because it's asking for architect. So we're in the job title. Yeah, there you go. Data architecture. That's the reason why. So this is indexing across anything with that actual buzzword. So let's call it 300 jobs. That's still a lot for the end of the year, for it to be advertised at that. If we look for remote, 1,986. Oh my goodness me. That is quite high. 1,226. Azure Technical Architect, 75 remote. MSP urgent. And it's fully remote. Some visits, some site visits. Well, in my case, would be no site visits. But looking at this, wow, look at that. Look. Azure DevOps Architect. Ooh, juicy. 90 to 110. Oh my Lord. That's quite nice. Well, that's gone up, That's quite good. But yeah, that's the other thing I'm finding in the market, jobs before. If I'm looking down here above 100K year at 164, if I saw 40 jobs advertised above 100, that was a lot. Now 164, and at the end of the year, that's quite good, you know. Let's look at security. So as I said, security is something that's going to be in demand, especially now that you've got the artificial intelligence who's like creeping in, and people are, the hackers are getting that little bit more sophisticated and learn the technology and out. So they're implementing other technology to counteract technology. So AI against AI, you can find a lot, you know, it's, security is something that's is in demand regardless. You know, it doesn't matter what tech you have, you need to make it secure, especially if it's in the cloud, especially if it's hybrid. If you go on-prem to cloud or multi-cloud vendor, gosh, that's even more riskier for business. So what do you want? You want the best cloud security engineer, architect, consultant, technical lead, blah, 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 that you want. Just remember, stay away from those jobs that are demanding you in meetings, because if it is, you're not going to get too much focus onto the tech. And that's where we need to focus on, the tech. And if I look here, that's pretty good. 1,016 jobs posted. And the rates are marvelous. And what can I say, for the end of the year, for me to see that many jobs posted, that's a significant number. To me, that that that's not usually at the end of the year. You see that when they're down to like 50, maybe 10, sometimes none. This is the first time in my career I've ever seen it this high. And I think what's happening is that if I follow Bloomberg TV properly, is that there's still a lot of projects that are still being funded and still needed for businesses to be functioning and working and stuff like that. Excuse me, just a little bit of TLC on the lips there because it's winter. But basically what's happening as well is that, according to, I think his name is Andy Sass, the new CEO or CIO of Azure and AWS. He said, and using his words on Bluebird TV, there's still 80% of businesses out there in the whole world, he said, that are not fully digitized as yet, meaning they still have some room to grow, meaning there's still adoption to have, meaning there's still opportunities for us to go out there and get jobs and be able to be part of projects and contracts where people need to be able to migrate from on-prem into cloud, or they need to be able to have a secure environment between on-prem and cloud or multi-cloud. There's still going to be a demand for it because that's what's happening. There's a lot of these other businesses who are like literally dying of death. Dying of death. They're dying. They're dying on their legs, is what I mean. And it's because they haven't actually adapted to the new ways of working. So, you're going to see a lot more demand in security, I think. Next year, you're going to see a lot more demand for DevOps. You should see a lot more demand for data, and the numbers stay the same. Now, some of you are probably asking, do these numbers stay the same dependent on the vendor of what we're using for cloud? It more or less stays the same. 996 for AWS and remote. Google Cloud, GCP, 970. But here's the thing that's interesting. Azure. Azure is more. Why is Azure more? Okay, so again, watching Bloomberg TV and hearing about the market rates and the market catch up and stuff like that. Where Azure is actually winning is when it comes to the security element. Now, this article, albeit is posted by Microsoft, it's probably going to be biased somewhat, but it is using the Magic Quadrant from Gartner, and it does show that Microsoft is the leader when it comes to Azure security, to IT security, cloud security, and that's where they're running. So if someone's doing their due diligence, being in a business, and they're actually going to say, when it comes to the technology side of things, do we have these features and functions? Yes. But do we have the benefit of security? Microsoft ticks all those boxes. It's the benefits of it. Features and functions are goodies. They're the shiny object things. Those are the things that the techies get really excited about. But when it comes to business and thinking in a more of a aligned with the security element side of things, Azure ticks the boxes there. And that's what you're probably finding or seeing in today's market. Azure's winning that security front. They put a lot of effort and money in Sentinel of what they've got. The Azure the Cloud Defender is a really good tool. It's getting strengthened when it comes to most of the elements within Azure, the resources like storage, for example, compute, all these sort of things. And that's where Azure is actually winning. You can actually use the Azure. This is where they're quite clever. You can use the Azure tooling like Sentinel, Defender for Cloud to also monitor other cloud and on-premises devices as well. It's not just for Azure because the market's quite open. As long as your API is exposed, you can do cross technology stacks as much as you like. And that's quite a clever thing. So what am I trying to say of all these things? And that is this. Don't chase the money. Wherever you do. The money is not the important bit. What's really important is you're doing something that you're passionate about. You're doing something that you're going to be happy in doing, and you're excited about doing, and regardless of what the money is going to be there. Just make sure that it fits into the elements. For me, it's remote. For me, it's popular technology, not niche. And for me, it's no meetings. But I want to show you this. If I go here and I go remote, do you see here on the side? Look at that. All that red that you see there are jobs that are saying the word remote in it. And that I've never seen as much as I am seeing here now. Usually you'll see this, a lot of white space, and then a line, and then a red line. A lot of white space, then a line. A lot of white, no, it's a lot of lines. I expect to see to be a little bit more dense next year, more looking like a solid red rather than just a fragmented red. Actually, this reminds me of like Microsoft, this fragmenter tool that they used to have. But the point I'm trying to make is that you're gonna find a lot more remote work, and that's a really cool thing that I'm excited about. That's helped me a lot tremendously, and I hope it helps you. So wherever you are in the world, wherever you're doing, let us know what your plans are. Put some comments below, and I'll see you in the new year. Plans for new year for the YouTube channel. I want to be posting a little bit more. If I do it, I got the girls who are going to be knocking pretty soon on the door. Here they come. Yeah, probably one content a week, probably more than a month, but definitely we will be increasing as much as we possibly can. And you know, hopefully I could take you on a more journey as the bot's more tech. I'll be doing a little bit more of we call it of unboxing and stuff like that. If you're interested in the technology that I'm using remotely, as you can see, I've got yeah, it's changed my screen. It's the camera. I've got some screens. I got some other Dell stuff. I got the Alienware laptop piece of the thing. It's fantastic. Which I bought one like 2 years ago. I love Dell. Anything Dell really is really good for me. Dell's a really good tool to be using. If you got any problems or anything with the components that you bought and you got warranty, just call them up. Got a problem? Guy comes to the door. It's got all the stuff that he needs to be able to repair something. Like dismantles the things, finds the issue, puts it together. Or what will happen is that he needs to get parts, gets parts in a few days. Or you just box the whole thing up, ship it. Somebody actually looks at it, repairs it, and then sends it back to you. It's absolutely amazing stuff. So anyway, thank you for watching the channel. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful end to the new year. And I hope everything goes well for you. See you later. Bye.